China's known for some incredible seaside cities like Hong Kong and Sanya. There's one, however, that gets overlooked far too often in my opinion. Located on the coast of Shandong Province, looking out over the Yellow Sea, is the mountainous metropolis of Qingdao. Here you can escape the busy urban center to connect with the great outdoors. The area is dotted with scenic urban green spaces, as well as the Xiaoyushan National Park to the north. Join me as I wander along endless trails admiring rugged mountain peaks and sandy beaches. Sadly, I've only got one day on this trip, so I won't be able to see as much as I'd like, but it will be a good introduction for when I can come back again. Wow. I am so happy to be here, so excited. I am in one of the coastal cities of China, and this is Qingdao. And it is such a unique place. And there's really two reasons for that. One is that it's like a nature lover's paradise because there are so many mountains, beaches, parks. There's just so much to do outdoors. And the other reason is because of its history, and that is its colonial era during the late 1800s to 1900s, where the Germans came in and were here for a bit. They really had a huge impact on the design and architecture, which makes it look so unique, especially when you look out and you see all these red and brown roofs all over the city. So today I'll be going out to see all that stuff outdoors that I really love, like climbing some mountains, checking out the beaches. There's a really cool pier, and just walking around some of the parks, like this one right here. And this is free to come to this pagoda and go to the top for all these amazing views. And then tomorrow I will be going around the city to check out its German roots and those influences, particularly when it comes to beer. I think I'll start by going over to the city's largest urban park, which is supposed to be incredible, but that may take me quite a while to do. So that might take up half of my day, but that's all right. You know, it's not too bad. Yes, you're going uphill for a ways, but I've definitely done harder hikes. And the fact that this is really well paved trails, which I believe they just did recently, makes it a lot easier to navigate. And as you can see, it's springtime, so you've got lots of these blossoming trees here. So I'm learning very quickly, not all these paved roads are even open to get to the top. So really make sure that you're checking your maps. Like I'm using Apple Maps because it's the only one in English that really works here. And maybe even just talk to some people that are here, talk to a local about how to get to the top, because it is kind of confusing. There are tons and tons of trails, and I would say just a handful of them are actually open. This is one of the hardest things I had about coming here, truthfully, was just figuring out how to get to the top. And I've still got a ways to go, but I think I'm getting there. I just had to kind of backtrack for about 30 minutes to get to the right trail that'll take me up. Like so many other places in China, this park, this public space is immaculately clean. But as I'm walking along, I'm seeing all these ground crews, and these are people much older, probably 50 and above, and they're just together doing trail restoration and maintenance work. And you can really tell because there's not a shred of litter anywhere in here, like nothing, not even a piece of paper on the ground. And everybody's smiling and smiling at me, probably because they haven't seen many foreigners out here. But yeah, it's really hard not to enjoy this walk, even if you're tired. Well, I'm finally headed back uphill, back toward the mountains with a 35-minute detour. And now it's telling me I have about 35 minutes to the summit of the peak. Technically there are 9 peaks, which is why it's such a striking park, because when you look at it, it looks like ridges. And now I'm going through some kind of tunnel here in the rocks. I just had to stop and rest in this little pavilion right here. I think I've already been walking about an hour, and I'm just now starting to head toward those peaks that I wanted to get to. But that's just, again, because it's a little bit tricky because there are so many trails and some of them just lead to nowhere or they're just not open today. But I don't have any regrets at all so far. Except for my feet. I might be getting a blister. It's been a while since I've done a hike. But I'm only here for one day, and I knew that I had to try to come out and see this because of all the great things I'd heard and read and even seen from pictures and videos online. Well, right behind me is the Seaside view. I came through that tunnel earlier because I started on the city side. And because this big park has all these high points, you get a lot of really fantastic views. That was a nice little rest, but now it's time for me to keep going because it's probably another 30 minutes to the top, maybe a little bit less. And I would like to do some other things today, but I think you need at least 2 to 3 hours to do this. I read somewhere that people were doing it in like 36 minutes. I think they were running or something because I don't really think that's possible. I just realized there are small cars and bikes going along this road too because it is pretty wide and it's very well paved. I'm starting to wonder if I could have saved myself a little bit of agony trying to get to the top by taking a small shuttle bus, although it's probably more reserved for people who are much older, because that is something that I noticed here in China overall, is that they try to make these outdoors areas really accessible for everyone, including young children and the elderly. So I think it's a great thing. You know, some people are like, oh, why would you put an escalator next to a mountain? Well, as long as it's not doing too much environmental damage and, you know, people are enjoying that and able to use it, I don't really have a problem with it. And I don't think it really detracts from the natural beauty. I think over-tourism would be something else. That's a totally different topic that I think will have to be addressed in the future. But as of right now, I mean, this park is so big and I've seen so few people that I really don't think that's an issue here at Fushan. Okay, so right here is part of the problem. This gate's actually open, so I guess it's all right to go inside. But there is like a fence that surrounds the entire park here. It's even got razor wire. Kind of scary. But this means that it's a little more difficult to get up to the top. I think this path is open though. The gate's wide open, so I'm guessing it's okay. And all the signs are in Chinese. There's no English, so it's really hard to tell if I can go through here or not. Again, I'm just judging on the fact that the gate's open and the map is telling me 25 minutes to the top. I really think this is for a safety issue though. They want people going only certain ways to the top. That way they can monitor you better, because these paths are a lot less, these are more like trails made of stone rather than the concrete that I've been walking on so far. I think that if I wasn't used to hiking, especially in my youth, in Boy Scouts and doing a lot of that kind of trail stuff, this would be a little scary for a novice. But because of that, I think it's completely fine. And a lot of the trails back in the US and in Europe are way less marked than this. So it's not too bad, really. This really reminds me of all my hiking back when I lived in Seoul, because that's another major Asian city with lots and lots of urban hikes in the mountains. Okay, so quick change of plans again. This is like the 8th time I've turned around so far. But there was a security guard up there a little ways on this path just to let people know that you can't keep going on this one. Again, it's really for our safety as the public coming up here. They just want to make sure that we're not getting injured. These mountain peaks are no joke. They're not what I'd consider a beginner trail, especially as you get closer to them. Just walking around is fine. Anybody can do that. But to go all the way up, I think you have to be in a certain fitness level. Not crazy fit. You don't have to know how to scale a mountain or anything or do any kind of extreme sports, but just be aware. And also, the other thing too is you get some great views of the peaks just from the bottom. So if I don't actually make it up to the top, I'm okay, because I'm still getting good views. I'm enjoying my time out in nature. It's beautiful weather. I really couldn't have asked for anything nicer. I just can't believe how lucky I got. I thought it was going to be raining today. So everything works out the way it should. And I'm not giving up yet, though. I'm going to keep trying a few more times, but I think maybe 2 more times, because I'm also starting to really feel it. I'm going to take a break. I'm getting tired, but there's a viewpoint right here. Let's check that out really quick. Oh, that's a nice view of the sea. I feel like I can almost see Korea from here. All right, that was a nice little spot for a rest. But now I'm ready to keep walking for a bit. This is definitely going to end up taking me more like half a day than just a few hours, but again, there are so many great views and it's such a lovely day to be out. I don't even mind that. Even if I don't get to see a lot more of the city, I feel like this is more my scene anyway. You know, I like the outdoors and nature more than, you know, the urban landscape, although it can be fun too. Something that is always surprising but lovely to see here is that when you're in Asia and you're doing these mountain hikes in a lot of places, you find exercise equipment, public, you know, free stuff to use as you're walking through these trails and mountains, and you think to yourself, isn't it enough exercise that I'm just hiking up this? But there are people up there using it. And a lot of the hikers that I do see up here are much older than me. That's also something I think is wonderful. Because, you know, in North America, you never really see that, you know. Occasionally you do. But a lot of times, it's much younger people doing this kind of hiking. Now, as I walk around this massive park, it's great because I do feel like I'm getting to see the city from all sides, and it's just kind of, you know, you've got these tall residential buildings here, these apartment complexes right at the base of the hill. Kind of makes me think of like Hong Kong. If you go there, you'll see that the high rises are built into the mountains because the islands themselves are so hilly. Well, I think I finally found the stairs that go to the top of the mountain here, and it only took me walking around the park about halfway. So I did do a lot of extra walking, but I'm glad that maybe I'm finally going to get to go up to the top of some of these peaks and get some really beautiful views. I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. Ah, here are the stairs that'll take me to the top, I think. All right, I'm really optimistic that this staircase I found is going to be exactly where I needed to go to get to the top of one of the peaks for a view. But I'm already pretty tired. So this will be it for me. If this doesn't work, I think I might just call it quits and just, enjoy the memory that I had today. I think, truthfully, I preferred the path without the stairs. But it's okay. At least I'm going in the right direction. And wow. That is an incredible view right here. Huh. I'm pretty sure this sign was put here for me. More stairs. A lot more stairs. There are little lookout points all over the place here, so you can just kind of like stop for a little bit, check out the city and the sea. You can go back over here, walk off the trail for a second, and you can get some amazing views of the peaks. And now you're just kind of in the rocks. Take a look at that behind me. That is just amazing. This is a wonderful spot. It's just right off the steps over there. And I just needed to sit down for a minute on the side of this hill. I mean, this could be a place you just sit for hours and just meditating in the quiet. So peaceful. Yeah, not too much climbing. Well, this is where the stairs end on this last platform. But you can get, again, great views of the mountains as well as the city and the sea that way. And then it does keep going, but the trail just turns into rocks and dirt. A little bit more dangerous, but I might try to go a little bit further that way. It looks kind of cool. If you are going to choose to keep going on here, just be real careful. Because again, no more steps, but there is kind of a path through these big brown rocks. Again, more great views on both sides because you're kind of on a, you're on a ridge right here, sort of. Not on the top ridge like over there, but you're on a ridge right here nonetheless. I kind of wish I could read Chinese because I'd really like to know what these little signs are saying. And when you're looking over there, you can just barely see the mountains because there's like a haze covering them. A mist, if you will. And I think that's fairly common around, you know, beach towns, seaside towns. Well, I should say city, because Qingdao is massive. It's over 10 million people, so not a small town, but, you know. So marking this spot on the map, because if I had just come here originally, this would not have taken me 5 hours. And I still have other stuff to check out, so I better get going. This really crowded pier behind me is one of the most famous sites in the city, and it's a place where everybody's trying to come and see it. So I'm gonna walk out there, check it out myself. There's a little pagoda at the very end. That is a lot of seagulls over there. I think they must not get very many foreign tourists here, because I've already been stopped about 4 times. Just people trying to be friendly, but it's just funny. As I'm getting a little further along on the pier, it's getting a little emptier, but I think it's because people are kind of congregated toward the side on the beach and the side over here by the pagoda at the very end. Well, a lot of people here are throwing food out there at the gulls, and that's what's making them go crazy. Probably why there are so many here. Tourists feeding them. Well, I finally made it out to the end of the pier, and this is the pavilion. Shangdong Pier. I think that's what it's called. And this pavilion is from the 1800s. And it's most notably known as the label cover of the most famous beer here in China, Qingdao beer. Now you can't actually go inside the pier, but you can get a look back at the beach from this distance and kind of get a great skyline view of the city right there. Definitely worth coming out here, so don't skip this one. As always, stay safe, healthy, and happy, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Bye for now. Thanks for joining me today. Life's a journey meant to be shared. Remember to always travel with an open heart and an open mind. Enjoy the ride and keep your eyes on the horizon for the next adventure. I'll see you out there.